Hi, I'm Ken Oakes with Oakes Daylilies. A few weeks ago we shot a video on 5 great things about daylilies with small blooms. And so today I thought about doing a video on 5 great things about daylilies with big blooms. Now we all have our personal preference. I like big blooms and I cannot lie, and I'm going to talk about some of the reasons why in this video. So one of the great things about daylilies is just the huge variety available. There are daylilies with blooms as small as just 1.5 inches or so, all the way up to the largest one we grow is a variety called Webster's Pink Wonder, which is about 13 inches across, and everything in between. And there are all sorts of different colors. If you're not familiar with daylilies, everything except a true blue really, and you want to look through the website, just see all the different, we have more than 200 kinds on the website. You're going to want to check and see all the different colors and different combinations of colors and different shaped blooms. And maybe that you find when you look at them that you come up with something that's kind of your preference. I tend to like the ones with the great big blooms, which is what we're going to talk about in this video today, and some of the reasons why I like them. And the first reason that I like the daylilies with big blooms is oftentimes they're held on tall scapes. That's not always the case. There are some with big blooms on short scapes, but more often than not, those with big blooms are going to be held pretty tall. So it's as simple as you don't have to bend over to look at them. They're going to be 36 inches or so, about this high, give or take. So boom, it's right there. Here come a few more weeks with some blooms I can come back and show you, but it'll be about 36 inches tall. This is the variety Mary's Gold, which I think is actually a little taller than that. I can't remember exactly, but I think 40 inches. Blooms about this tall, so boom, they're just right there, easy to look, don't have to bend over to see them. So that's the first thing I like about daylilies with big blooms. So the second great thing about daylilies with big blooms is oftentimes they have bigger stature plants. They're taller and the foliage is taller, the whole plant, the whole clump is bigger. So you can see this is the variety Tuscarora tigris, which is a nice big orange bloom. Gosh, look, this foliage is about waist high on me, what, 2.5, 3 feet. So that's going to serve as a nice little screen in your garden. So if you're going to put this in front of a wall, or if you got something you wanted to hide, for instance, this foliage is going to serve as a nice screen. Now daylilies with smaller blooms are shorter oftentimes, so you can see it's not quite as big a clump. It's just not cover as much. That's Paco Bell, just a little shorter, beautiful bloom, but small bloom and not quite as tall. So that's the second thing, they can serve as a screen in your garden. Alright, so the third great thing about daylilies with big blooms is because they oftentimes make a bigger clump, it takes less of them to fill in a space. Now you're going to want to space your daylilies typically between 18 and 24 inches apart, and oftentimes the varieties with smaller blooms are going to have a smaller stature plant, so you're going to want to plant them closer to the 18 inches apart. And the daylilies with a big bloom, larger stature plant, closer to the 24 or maybe even a little further apart. So it's going to take less of them to fill in a space. So I thought I'd mention a couple of my favorite daylilies with large blooms. So Red Volunteer is one of our most popular varieties, and it's actually one that we introduced. My grandfather created it. It's been an All-American selection, an Award of Merit winner. Big 7-inch red blooms on tall 30 to 36-inch scapes. That's a great one, real popular with our customers. I'd mentioned Mary's Gold a minute ago in the video. I really like that one. It's just a solid gold, but it's just so eye-catching, and it's tall, lots of blooms. That's a great one. Orange Vols is another one, and that's actually one that we did as well. We're here in Tennessee, University of Tennessee country, so the Volunteers, go Vols. So Orange Vols is one of ours, big 7-inch deep orange blooms on nice dark green foliage. Those are 3 of big blooms that I really like. And I think we still got a couple other things in our list of 5 things about daylilies, so let's see what's next. So the fourth thing I like about daylilies with big blooms is they're just really eye-catching. There's just something about a big bloom, even if it's just 6, 7 inches across, that's a nice big bright bloom. It's going to really just jump out at you across the garden like, what is that? Particularly the bright colors like a Mary's Gold or big bright yellow like Chicago Star. Those are some really bright ones. But just big blooms just can be really eye-catching. Not that the small ones aren't, but the big ones certainly are. And I mentioned Webster's Pink Wonder is one of our biggest ones. That's another variety I'd give a shout out just because there's nothing else like it in the garden. 13 inches across on really pretty tall scapes. Definitely gonna grab your attention. Alright, and so the fifth thing that is great about daylilies with big blooms is that a lot of the ones with the biggest blooms are what's known as spider type daylilies. And that refers to the shape, which is long, thin petals, kind of like the legs of a spider. So those are referred to as spider types or unusual form daylilies. And a lot of the biggest ones are that type with the long thin petals. And one of the good things about those is that they stand out in the garden because they're a different shape than the more traditional round daylily. So if you're going through your garden, you got the more traditional round shaped daylilies, then you come across this one with big long thin petals, it's just going to stand out, the variety. So that's one of the great things about them. The spider types were one of the favorites of my grandfather. At one time he had more than 400 varieties of spider type daylilies, and we still have, I don't know, a couple hundred probably at least, and quite a few available on the website. And they're available in all the different colors, just like all the other daylilies. Some of my favorite spider types, I mentioned Webster's Pink Wonder. That's a great one just because it's so big and eye-catching. Bali Watercolor is another one, held on tall scapes. Great big, I think there's 10 or more inches in diameter is what it's listed at. That's a purple with kind of a lighter watermark in the center. Let's see, Jersey Spider is a great one with just bright orange, but just puts out lots of blooms, and so it's a really nice orange spider. That's another one that I like really well in the spider types. Oh, and Spider-Man, I wanted to mention that one. That's a great big red, 7 or 8 inch blooms I think, and it puts out lots of blooms for a really nice clump. And all of those great big blooms, gonna be eye-catching, just all the things you love about daylilies with big blooms. Plus they got that different spider type shape, so they're really gonna stand out in the garden. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. One of the things I mentioned about daylilies with the big blooms is oftentimes they're tall. We just shot a video just recently about using daylilies in your landscape, how to plan out a bed, and one of the things you might want to think about as you do that is incorporating tall daylilies, so you might want to check that video out. Now we've grown daylilies for over 40 years and we love talking about all things daylily, so if you have any questions or comments on this video or anything daylily, you can put them below in the comments, or all of our contact information is on the website, and we sure appreciate you watching.